Okay, I'm going to make coconut candy. It's pretty tasty. Usually you find this in stores that carry Mexican candies and things like that. This is a 14-ounce bag of coconut. I'm going to put it on a baking pan. And right now I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees and brown it. Okay, now I've got a couple of tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to put them in a pan. You can use a non-stick pan if you'd like. This is just what I always use. Cast iron. I'm going to melt this butter in here. And I'm going to add a can of sweetened condensed milk. And it doesn't need to be the expensive kind. This works just fine. Okay, here's our coconut. And I turned the oven on to broil. And you gotta watch it really careful. If it gets a little black around the edges and you don't care for that black, you can simply pick it off. But you want a nice golden brown because some of this is going to be not so brown. Alright, let me make sure. Got some heat underneath this milk. What I do with this is I just move this around and kind of brown this milk. Really low heat. You see under there? If you can see under there, let's see. We've got a nice low heat. And it'll start to kind of brown in a few places. And it just gives it a nice caramelized flavor. The butter helps keep it from sticking and gives it a good buttery flavor. You see it's starting to sizzle a little bit and stick. It'll thin out and then it'll thicken back up. We don't want it too thick, but we don't want it too thin either. And you gotta watch it pretty careful. This goes quick. It makes up really fast. Alright. Hang on, I'm gonna get some almonds. Okay. It's got nice bubbles in it. Starting to get a little... I think I might have went a little heavy on the butter. If that happens to you, no worries. A little bit of brown sugar, and that'll correct that problem. You can simply add more coconut too. That will solve the problem. This is not an exact science. It's more of a flavor texture kind of thing. So I'm going to put just a little more brown sugar. If I had to guess how much that was, about 1/4 cup. Into the pan. Now we're starting to get it rolling up a little bit more of a boil. It is thickening up. Should have a nice buttery flavor. A little more caramel color with that brown sugar. Okay, I'll pause this for a minute and let this cook a little longer. Okay, I turned up my heat a little more and I've got some nice bubbles going. That's the way I like for it to look. And I know I'm getting it hot enough that it's thickening up and it's going to have the right texture when I mix the coconut in. This isn't a recipe that I found somewhere. This is something that I just figured out over time. So this is how I do it. You can see the texture's changed a lot. It's a lot thicker than it was before. This smells really good, really caramely. And that's what we're going for. Alright, because this cast iron is going to hold heat longer than another pan, I'm going to shut it off. You won't get that same experience with a different type of pan, but if you're using cast iron, you should have enough heat now that you're going to want to shut it off, because it's going to keep bubbling. Alright, what I'm going to do now is add the coconut, and I'm going to have to pause this in order to do that. Okay, here we are again. I have placed the coconut in the liquid, and I put a handful, approximately 1/4 of a cup, maybe a little more. It's a taste thing. Liquid and almonds in. And this is going to be a bugger to stir. As it gets kind of dry, so what you really need to do is just get it all stirred in and thoroughly coated. The next thing you're going to do is take your pan that you had your coconut on and spread it out and press it down. It's going to cool. You're going to break off pieces. It's going to be chewy and delicious. And you're done. Coconut candy. It's going to come out probably different every time, and you're going to learn how you really like it. Coconut a little more brown, coconut a little less brown, a little more sugar, a little less butter. It's kind of a thing that you'll learn as you do it. But it's delicious every time. Every variation has come out really well. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.